Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the rerun of manufacturing webinar titled with Prescriptive Advantage, AI-driven transformation for manufacturing and supply chain. So before starting the meeting, I would like to introduce our co-speakers for today's webinar. So I would like to introduce Mr. Enrico Lisk, Director, Data and AI at ZILLIONe Technologies. So I would like to invite Mr. Enrico to give you a brief introduction to today's webinar on manufacturing, AI transformation on manufacturing. So Enrico, all over to you.
Thanks, Sonalis, and thank you everyone for joining on time. Let's start. It's not a keynote. It's basically kind of an introduction into this webinar that we want to do. Some of the things that we want to cover is when we actually talk to clients, we feel that there is kind of still a resistance to adopting AI. There are questions whether our jobs are at stake, what AI will really do. So that is one of the key things that we want to kind of put into you, saying that, okay, by using AI, that you can do your job much better. Most probably you can get ahead of the ladder in a personal perspective, in addition to what is the kind of benefit that your organization will get. So the world today without AI would be very different, and the future world, if you're not using AI, again leaves a kind of gap to say, why aren't we using AI? Can we do things better? There are always boardroom discussions. So the whole thing here is we are trying to show for the manufacturing industry. So we have basically a lot of industry-led examples, because the whole idea is that when you come here, you will see something that is relevant to your industry and get inspired not only by the examples that we provide, but also see, okay, if AI can do things like this, can some of my problems also be sorted out with AI, which we don't show. So keep that open mind when you're going. So to come to actually what it is from a reality perspective, if you look at your organizations, you have all the data that you want. There is absolutely no concern there. Everything is available. You have all the reports that are needed, which you run on daily, monthly, weekly, that kind of thing. And of course, you have the teams to kind of analyze them and get everything sorted out. But still, you will see that the decisions that you make are very reactive. Most probably in a meeting room, if somebody points out something, you make a decision, or you kind of try to take a decision on that. You see that still there are stockouts, still there are overstocked items. There's a lot of working capital that is locked in, and everyone is still playing by instinct. So that is kind of the reality today. Whichever the kind of industry that we go, this is what we hear. So what is the shift that we need? So the shift that we need is just from visibility of reports, can you make some decision insights so that a new decision will be made to rectify that problem? Can from these reports, can we go into actually recommended actions? Because are you just making recommended actions on your own, or do you seek the help of AI to make these recommended actions? The next one is when it comes to the next best decision. So if you still, there's a practical problem, what is the next best decision that we can get? So these are the kind of shifts that we need, and how AI will really help is AI will see all your data that you give it access to, and it will see the patterns that you wouldn't see. So you will see those things here when in the demos that we give. Then finally, from those patterns, it could predict. So maybe in 2 weeks time, you're going to have a problem. Maybe in 4 months time, you're going to have a problem, depending on the use case. AI can predict that problem. And not only predict and let you kind of look at how you're going to solve it, it can make recommendations. So we call that prescriptive recommendations. So those are the kind of things that it can do. So prescriptive recommendations is not that an AI will just do something. We will implement it for you so that usually what you would take. So I won't take kind of the examples from the demos that we have, but you will see it will tell you, okay, in this particular case, these are some of the actions you can take. However, actioning them again is under human control. So these platforms and these solutions give you as a user, as a manager, as a director, how to move forward with your organization, where it's data driven, and it justifies those kind of actions that you take. So from an outcome perspective, what would you get if you go here, right? So these are some of the smallest things that we have. One thing that I like to do is from a a commercial perspective, definitely you should have top line revenue growth, right? Otherwise, there's no point doing this kind of a AI driven thing. From an inventory perspective, you should have a reduced, working capital held in stocks, as well as the stock out situations. When it comes to waste, especially in like expiry places in food industry, in pharmaceuticals, there's a lot of things that go to waste. So can these predictive and prescriptive models help you reduce the waste? Can it do planning? Yes, it could help you with planning. And today we have some fantastic models that can help you do the planning better. And finally, the speed. As humans, we are limited by the typing speed we have, but and we are limited by the 9 to 5 work that we do. But here, using agents, we have 24 by 7 unlimitedly scalable agents that can, when you walk in the morning, it tells you, okay, these are the problems we predict for the next 2 weeks, and these are the recommendations I have. And then you get on doing those. So the machine does what the machine does best, and humans make the judgment call whether this is right and to move forward. And then get your organization up to speed. So this is the kind of environment that we want to bring to your organizations using AI. And this is a subset of the solutions we have for manufacturing. Uh, so with that, let's go on to the first kind of a discussion demo point. Sonali, over to you.
Thanks, Enrico. I think well explained. I guess the audience has a clear understanding of what we'll be covering from the webinar today. So, I think from an AI perspective, I think most of you have this question like exactly what AI can help us to do within our organization and where we should exactly apply these technologies and where it should be coming in. So, apart from the demos, apart from the use cases that we are going to showcase to you in the upcoming slides, we'll be also show you exactly where to start and what sort of framework that you should be following up with as well. Now, since I think everything has been covered from Enrico's, I would like to take you through the demonstrations that we have on a set of use cases that we found in general that most of the organizations are facing challenges when it comes to manufacturing and supply chain. So we have around 7 use cases. I don't want to spend too much time on it. So let's jump with the first use case that we have. Yeah, this is it. So I think when it comes to production and like inventories, working capitals, I think reconciliation is a very commonly heard word, and I would guess that most of the manufacturing, most of the supply chain companies, organizations still do reconciliation in Excel, and there are different tools. But still, there's a human intervention and a human effort that is need to do these reconciliation parts. Now, when it comes to production versus dispatch, I think apart from having too much Excel, multiple Excel pages, like we have this tool where it will do this reconciliation automatically, which will be processing all this data as a batch. And from this reconciliation, you might get a proper understanding. You will get to see, you get to identify what are undispatched and overdispatched items, and which will this where this tool will help you, like to flag these things in real time. And also, you can capture the root causes as well. So we do have a small video, so I just played for you. Yeah. Okay, okay, all right. So I'll start from here. So basically, we do have some sample data sets which we have uploaded using Excel, but just for your understanding, so we can bring data from different systems, different data sources. It's not just limited to Excel. You can bring data from if you have it could be an ERP, or it could be some sort of a manufacturing specific tool that you are using to store your data. So what we are showing you. Okay. Right. So here what we do is like this data is taken, what we are using here is a food industry based data. So you can see there we have different food items as shown in the video. So here what we do is like we do this reconciliation to to get a specific data based on a few metrics like say match, like from a dispatching perspective, also from a production perspective, as well as what sort of a stock or sort of a production inventory that you have in hand. So as you can see, there's a kind of a dash, kind of a bar chart that you can see where each food item um, is being reconciled based on production versus dispatch data. So what happens here is I just stop here for a while. Okay. Right, okay. So here what you can see is like we upload this the product data, and you can see we do have the dispatch data coming into this tool. So what you can see here is you can see for each product based on different batch numbers and lot numbers, you can see how much the production has, how much has been produced for each particular product, product or an item, and you can see how much of inventory that you have on hand, and basically how much of what's the quantity that has been dispatched as well. So to get this quantifiable data through an Excel is kind of very difficult, and I guess that most of the manufacturing, even there can be different individuals who have joined the webinar today in the audience, so who might be doing this reconciliation in Excel. So what we would think is like from a quantifying perspective, you might be not be able to track all these things through an Excel. So when it comes to variance, and in the upcoming slides, we do have this velocity things coming. So there are different metrics, different KPIs that we are looking into. So right here, what you can see is like based on the data and based on the batch numbers, lot numbers, you can see how much, like what's the reconciliation, what's the gap that lies between the production of a particular item against how much, what's the quantity or the figure that has been dispatched. So from a status perspective, you can see based on the variance, it will automatically label it as whether it has been under dispatch or whether it has been over dispatch. For over dispatch items, you can see it will automatically generate a kind of a reason saying what exactly would might happen when it comes to over dispatching a particular item or a product. So even you can see depending on variance statuses, we can flag it. So you can see we are using different color themes and different variance measures from the backend, so that so the tool itself will identify exactly where what sort of a hidden gap is being lying when it comes to over dispatching and under dispatching items. So that's this is a kind of very basic reconciliation tool that we have with us, but depending on your requirements, so all these tools, all these solutions can be customized accordingly. So just to add one point, so you might be wondering, you might have a concern where these tools, where this data will be exposing to the external parties. Of course not. So all the tools, all the solutions that we are showing to you right now, and all the data that we are fetching to these set of tools and solutions that we have, all reside within your tenant. So if you feel that this solution should be implemented to your organization to be to be used within your teams, so we can assure that all these solutions, all the data will be residing only in your tenant, and none of these solutions, none of these data will be taken to our site. So just keeping that in mind, like let's move into the next use case. Okay. So since we talk about production versus dispatch and reconciliation, kind of a very huge aspect that we might need more time to talking into. So you might have this concern. I want to track which items are fast moving, which items are slow moving, and you might feel like it's very. I find it very hard to do it on Excel, and it's really making a fuss. Like I just want to call the dealers. I just want to track with other departments just to see. Like at the month end, I want to track everything on place. I would have everything in place. I want to know exactly what item was slow moving, and if I just want to get rid of that particular item. So different questions, different pain points and different, like different question marks that you have in your mind. So, Enrico, why don't you take this? I think better than me, I think you can explain it more in detail.
Sure, Sonalis, and thank you for putting me on the spot. So I think the problem statement is very clear. When you have dealers and when you have your own shops, how do you move items from place to place? There are obviously restrictions like, you can't take from one dealer and send to another dealer. Most of the time that doesn't work, but within a dealer network itself, there are things that you could do and your own shop fronts that you have. The whole idea here is that you have the right stock at the right particular place when the customer walks in and you don't have a stock out situation. How you can move your items around so that your revenues are best managed through these intelligence that we have. And here you will see some of the prescriptive parts that come in, which you didn't see earlier. Earlier was just a reconciliation. So let's get into that. Let's play the video. So once again, data can come from any source, an API, a database, Excel, CSVs, it doesn't matter. Here we are just showing it for a demo using using Excels and CSVs. Yeah, let's get the super. So basically, when we upload the data, obviously here we are looking at, as I said, the dealer inventory and the product inventory that you have. Once again, we will bring you all the KPIs that you need. These are some suggested KPIs. So this is food industry, as we explained before. So you'll see what is the things that are kind of expiring fast, what are your fast moving items, what are your slow moving items, and then of course the stock movement by dealer, stock on hand by dealer. So all those details you can see and make those, and this AI tool will start making predictive and prescriptive decisions that you can kind of apply for yourself. So as you can see, there may be slow moving items with one dealer, which is, we'll say, in Moratuwa, and then his other location in, we'll say, Colombo. It's a very fast moving item. So we know that there are things like that. So here we can see, first it will do a kind of a velocity that you have at each kind of brand, at each kind of dealer, so that you know whether those dealers are pushing your products or not. Because if it's a consumer thing, definitely, if you take, for instance, cheese, there are hundreds of brands of cheese, you do only one. So you can see whether that velocity is at the velocity that we need and mark them as slow moving, fast moving. We analyze your data to come up with this, but here we are using industry standard kind of benchmark to say whether it's a slow moving or a fast moving item. So let's go to the next section. Yeah. So yeah, I will take this one also. It's the continuation of that, right? Yeah. So basically, it will show you where your fast moving, slow moving, expiry, and you can kind of have a dashboard there, and you can look at it. But I think this is the best part where the prescriptive part comes. So continuing, I think I have done the introduction into the cross-location transition. So let's go to the video. So it's the same set of files that we have. So the transfer suggestions, expiry alerts, all those things will be on the same thing. So stock movement was earlier. So basically, so here you can see within a dealer, they can suggest transfers. So we'll say if your end customer is Cargill's, right, as a dealer, and you can see their products, the movement, and then it will suggest you that, okay, if you take the first item, there is a 20% only sold at the Colombo, but 90% sold at the Candy, and it will tell you what kind of action that you need to take. So total opportunities, the whole idea here is that we will the stock value that you transfer, the revenue that you expect, it will show you if you take these actions properly. Can we play the next? So you can see, so it suggests to move 108 from Colombo to Kandy. And obviously here we can't do it. So you'll do the transfer note in your dealer system and you mark it as done. Then it will show you what is the expected revenue and stuff like that. So a few examples here. it will come like that, and then there are 20 recommendations. It will show you how much it has you have made. Some ones you can make a human judgment that even though the AI recommends, we are not going to do it, so you can leave it as that. So basically here what we are trying to see is uh, move your inventory from within the dealers from one location to other location, so that one, you don't have any kind of write-offs because of that. You don't have any lost opportunities. And from a customer experience perspective, your products are on the shelves when that customer walks into that particular location. So continuing into the expiry, I'll take that also and then we'll finish this one. So expiry and prescriptive reasoning. So let's go basically here. What we want to do is the same example we want to continue. And obviously you have seen, like if you take, our retail outlets, there are promotions run in a particular outlet, but that same promotions are not there in maybe the next nearby outlet. So how do we get there is by having these kind of prescriptive AI and reasoning coming into the picture. So let's play the video. Yeah, so it's on the same set of data that we took earlier. So no more uploads. So on the expiry alerts. So basically here, since it's food, we have expiries. Similarly, you all can have different kind of things based on your lot and batches that you have. So the expiry alerts will come. So there are 28 total expiry alerts in our system. So basically what it will do is it will tell you based on your business. This logic is something that we collect from you and bill from you. So it will tell, okay, bundle this up with a complementary product. And the whole idea is that we reduce wastage, capture some amount of revenue, and also show if you didn't do this, what is the kind of revenue you will lose. And obviously we have high critical ones to do. There are medium ones to do. So you can look at that and prioritize what you want to take actions on. So if you take this action, uh, yeah, let's just look at the video. So how much revenue you will kind of lose as it is, recover as it is. And if you do it, it will show you kind of what the business impact is. So what is the wastage avoided, what is the revenue generated, and things like that. Obviously, you can bring more KPIs, more kind of business logic into it. This is just a very webinar level demo that we have. So this is how we see from an end-to-end from your production to dispatch. So production to dispatch reconciliation, then the item movements of fast moving, slow moving within that dealer network and your own outlets if you have. And then finally, from expiry perspective, how we can do, to move your goods out of stock and kind of make more revenue and keep the wastage to a minimum. So these solutions can be expanded to many other industries, but you can see the uh, rationalizing logic that is behind these ones. So from fast reconciliations to predictive to prescriptive. So it sees what happens and then tells you what to do. So it's like a lot on my kind of introduction that I said. So this is one example that showcases it very well. And from an adoption perspective, you can adopt it at stages, or you can go as a solution. Those options are available for you. So with that, I'll just hand it over back again to Sonali to take the next set of examples.
Thanks, Enrico. Yeah, so I think from a manufacturing perspective, so I think one of the main use cases are the ones that we showcased to you. So the one which I'm going to show you right now is a very document level thing. Now, when it comes to manufacturing and supply chain, the one main challenge that we are seeing is that you all are dealing with multiple vendors, multiple dealers. So it is not just limited to local market; it could be either coming from international market as well. When it comes to vendors, like when we are onboarding a vendor, like there are different there's a criteria that you might be defining when you are selecting a particular vendor, and for this set of vendors, like there are different documentations coming in. Like so, there can be maybe agreements, maybe different time frame contracts that you have, and it's very we and even when I was researching on manufacturing and supply chain, what I figured out is that it's very if you that these industry people are finding it very difficult to analyze these documents manually. So we have this solution where Just to brief it out before going to the video. So you have this set of agreements and a different set of contracts that you have, and you have a predefined clause as well. And what happens is like you are going to upload it to this tool, and the tool will analyze it on your behalf. I'll show the video first. I just want to explain everything before showing the video to you. Okay, right. So here what we're showing you is we have a retail agreement. It's a very sample agreement that we have taken into consideration. And we do have a predefined clauses, a set of clauses in which this tool will cross-check this document against the set of predefined clauses. And some of these clauses can be defined by you depending on different document templates that you might have, and that so these predefined clauses can be differ as well. So what happens is that we are going to upload this vendor agreement to this tool. Yeah, let me just park here for a while. Okay. So we have the retail vendor supply agreement, and in the middle you can see we have the suggestions coming in, and on the right hand side you can see what are the flagging areas of this document. Now, I'll start from the right-hand side. So once you upload this document, this tool will go through the entire agreement, and it will cross-check it against the predefined clauses that you have given to this tool, and it will identify what are the things that are present in the document, and what are the missing fields, and what are the partially completed terms or conditions that are included in the document, and what's the versioning as well. So I'll just hand over the versioning part to Enrico once I just explain this entire thing for you. So what happens is you can see once you upload this agreement, it will give you all the information right. It will give you the, I mean, kind of a summary of what the document has and what it does not. And in the middle, you can see the suggestions. So the best thing of this tool is that this tool has capability to identify the document type and give you the suggestions. Basically, like say for an example, there's maybe a term or a clause that is mandatory to be included in a vendor agreement, which is currently missing in the document that you upload into the tool itself. So what happens is like it will give you all the suggestions saying that maybe the contract term or the signatories, or it can be either a liability or maybe like an insurance-based term that you should be having in the agreement. So the thing is like it is not mandatory for you to have everything included into the agreement, but the tool itself can identify and say, I feel this is better to have this set of clauses coming into the agreement or the specific document that you're uploading. So I'll just continue playing this video for you. Right, okay. Just a small stop here. So you can see when you click on these KPIs, the present, missing, partial, and on the versioning, you can see it will show you these terms, like for an example, if you take termination notice period is not fully added to the document. It's a kind of very partial, maybe like a one short sentence that you have in the document, but it is mandatory for you to have the entire thing in detail coming into the agreement itself. So those kind of things will be like you might be feeling that it's a very minor, it's kind of very tiny thing, but when it comes to an agreement, what we feel is like it's a very kind of a confidential or maybe there are different aspects of agreements that you are signing with a particular vendor. So it's kind of essential for you all to have these mandatory clauses or terms, and like this thorough analysis of that particular document or maybe an agreement is quite essential when it comes to when you're dealing with since you're dealing with multiple vendors at once. So, like as I said, it will once you click on different drop downs, you can see exactly what are the confirm fees, what are the close issues that you have, like as you can see in the video. And if you click on confirm fees, like it will also track. So these are correctly in place in the document itself. So when it comes to suggestions, what happens is, like say, if you want to add the contract term is missing from a document and you want to add it to the document. What happens is when you click on accept, there's nothing for you to do. It's just clicking on the button. What happens is the term will get added into the document automatically. So, like as I said, like it's a very, I would say, it's a very minimal human effort that you have to put it in because the entire analysis is done by an AI tool, and it's just for you to you're like just maybe like adding, and it's a very tiny thing that you have to do with the tool itself. But the majority of the analysis and the main parts are being done by the tool itself. So you can see, like as you can see here, once you accept it, you can just the clauses will get automatically added to a document. But if you reject it, it might not add those clauses to that particular document which you have uploaded to the tool itself. Yeah, I think Andrew, you have something to say to this one.
Ye- Yeah, so I think you want me to take on the versioning thing. So obviously, contracts go from one place to the other. Like say, if it's between you and the vendor, when you and the retailer, whatever the agreement that you have, it will go back and forth. The first thing is obviously you have to have versions, so that we do. And the main business impact that this does is one is the speed, because if you send it to legal, it's not that they are slow. They want to ensure that the contract is airtight, right? And however many much we say that contracts are airtight, when it goes to courts, we see all the loopholes. So those are the two things that this tool will try to kind of mitigate. So everything to make it an airtight contract based on your contract terms will be ensured that is here. And of course, you don't have to wait weeks to do that. Within a few hours, you can get your first version out. And from obviously, you might have to wait from your other party because they may not have an AI tool, but then you can shorten this whole onboarding vendors, onboarding dealers, onboarding suppliers, whatever you call for a legal kind of a document. You can bring that, which will create better business value, be more competitive with your kind of competitors, because you're shortening that entire cycle. While doing that, making it a very airtight kind of a contract. So those are some of the business points that I would like to leave, as well as if you have the non-legal people who has, when you onboard, it's another team that brings it. They themselves can do the first check, right? And tell the client, look, this is not going to work, please bring in these kind of a clause. So I'll just pass it to legal, who will get this whole thing done. So how you organize your business process is up to you, but these are the kind of tools available from a document processing perspective from us. Yeah, Sonali?
Okay. I think there's nothing more for me to add into that use case. I think Andrew has well explained exactly what's the business outcome and what sort of challenges, what sort of pain points that is going to solve. So, since we talk about document intelligence, there's another one that I would really like to explain, which is AP invoice instruction and ERP posting. Okay, a nice one, by the way. So, now when it comes to, since we're talking about vendors, again, this is a very similar use case coming from that aspect. So, when you purchase something, like you should be issuing an invoice, or maybe it's a kind of a GRN kind of a thing, and you might have multiple people, like say maybe a huge headcount that you're using to like put this information into your systems manually. So we have this solution. It's a very beautiful solution, which I'll show it to you in the video itself without spending too much time on this slide. So, okay. Okay. So what happens here is that we have a set of invoices coming in manually, and what we do is like we scan all of these invoice documents as a batch, and we're uploading it to SharePoint. Now you might be wondering exactly, do we have to use SharePoint? Not really, but what we would suggest is to like have a kind of a very reliable data storage location. So in this case, we are using SharePoint as our data storage location. So what happens is we upload these invoices into the SharePoint list, and what happens is once you upload these documents, there's a backend trigger which happens to like extract these data points which you are going to add manually, which you are currently adding manually into your system. So all these data points will be extracted from a particular invoice and will be populated inside the same SharePoint list. So like as you can see here, we're extracting the customer number and a set of items from the table, and also we're extracting the cost figures as well. So like as you can see here, it will be populating the extracted data points inside the same SharePoint list. and we also maintain a status as well. So the second part of this is that after a validation part, this tool will start to post these extracted data points into your ERP system. So here we are using Sage as our as the example. So you can as you can see here we are defined like we have all these data points coming in. You can see like the flow will start to iterate until all the invoices, until all the data points has been posted into the ERP itself. So, since you might be wondering what's the exact business outcome of this, basically to reduce headcount. You might be having multiple data entry operators within your teams, like who might be entering all these invoices one by one into your ERP or maybe another system. So, which is a very time-consuming task and which will cost you in a way that you can't be imagining as well. So from a return on investment, exactly. So while reducing the headcount, this will definitely increase the speed, and from a time effectiveness, this will definitely help you to do everything without consuming much time as well. I think I would like to just pause it to Enrico. So since we are talking about AP invoice automation and all these posting things, like I would like to also put this question up to you, where I believe the audience might have a question still saying exactly like what sort of a business outcome apart from time effectiveness, reducing headcount, how this tool might be helping in manufacturing and supply chain apart from like posting invoices and so forth. There can be different other aspects that we feel that this tool can be used within the manufacturing and supply chain. What's your thought process on this?
Yeah, Sonal. So just to pause here, a few other things you would have seen. We don't use any APIs or anything like that. We are writing onto the screen itself. So basically, if you look at whether your ERP is IFS, Acumatica, whatever it is, and you don't need to contact those vendors, you just give us the machine that has the licensing, and we will directly write the data into that. Now, a few things there, and obviously, if the attachment needs to be loaded, we can do things like that. If you need a signature verification for, we'll say, uh, a delivery note, those things can be done. So that entire business process could be automated using this kind of a AI system. What is really important is where we have implemented this in other clients. If you look at AP invoice processing, you just attach the invoice, capture a few details of that. You don't go to the granularity of the data. So here, because it's done by an AI, you can capture all the details of the line items that you have. And based on those line items, you can see actually what your cost drivers are. So when you talk to a vendor, we'll say if your vendor, in this case, I think what we have done is kind of a invoice, but we have done it for uh, the delivery kind of people, where you can ask your vendors, okay, how come the delivery charges are so high for these particular items? How come my custom clearance was high? Those days you didn't capture those information because your headcount didn't allow you to capture at that granular level. But here we can do it at a very granular level. So these kind of details we do, this is just a solution that we show the AP invoice automation. But on your three-way matching, we'll say your PO to GRN to the invoice matching is also something that you can automate using this kind of a tool, because your GRN is a physical document, your invoice is a physical document. You may have it in the system also, but you can do all those kind of document extraction and matching processes automatically, and it will flag you any discrepancies that are there, so that you tackle it when it happens, not 1 month later or 3 months later when it becomes kind of a problem. And that granular data, you can start to do your cost drive analysis and so on and so forth. That will make your bottom line even better, because your costs will be reduced by getting kind of that focus onto that. So those are kind of the tools, and this is just for AP invoices. Any kind of a document that is physical, we can scan and bring all those data and push it into any system. That is the main important thing here. Yes, Sonali, over to you.
Thank you for that explanation, Enrico. So, another significant use case that manufacturing and supply chain might have is demand for costing. I think I would like to hand this to Andrew. Since demand forecasting is from your domain, I would like you to explain this use case so the audience might get a clear understanding of exactly how well that we can use AI, how we can transform this forecasting, manual forecasting, using different AI tools that we have.
Yeah. So basically, from a demand forecasting place like where we have implemented them, we see demand forecasting done at three levels, right? One is how much of this item do I need in the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, based on your lead times of getting it down or manufacturing. Second is you will want to know like, okay, if you have multiple locations, like we'll say one warehouse in US, one warehouse in UK, you would want to know, okay, how much for that item in that particular location we need, because they need to be again dispatched. Similarly, you may have some key clients, maybe 80% of your business is coming from 20% of your clients. Then customer wise, what are the kind of items that are needed? Because you don't want to disappoint your customers who are giving 80% of the business. You should be ready with the stocks. The other thing that this would do is when it predicts, if you still have inventory for those, maybe you don't go and purchase them. You try to run whatever the promotions or whatever to get those inventories out. So the problem is that can we predict what your future outcomes are based on patterns that we have seen in the past? So that's the whole thing that we do in this particular example. So let's go and see some screenshots of this. I don't think there's a video in this. So first is we'll look at the item positions, right? Because previous slide. Yeah, we'll look at kind of the item positions based on what is your below stock level inventory that you have, what is your out of stock, what is your safe stock reaching. All those kind of things we'll look at and give you the kind of items that you have. So your top items, your top customers who are buying them, what are your item sales, sales quantities by location. We will try to provide you a very good overview so that you know what you're going into when you go into the forecasting part. So in the forecasting part, what we do is we look at your past sales, and then like a simulation, you can say, okay, forecast it for 4 months, forecast it for 6 months, and your planner gets this whole tool at the bottom that you can see 4 or 6 or whatever things that you run. Then the planner with his own intuition and his own data that he has can select, okay, this is the kind of forecast that I would like to see. When they do that, you can go and of course do your manufacturing, do your whatever the things that you need. And on the top right hand corner, what you see is one line is the line that got predicted, and then actual sales that happened after 6 months. So that's the kind of dashboard we give so that your next planning cycle can be better by looking at what your previous planning cycle is. So the whole thing here is to ensure that again, we don't have a stock out situation either for a customer or for a location or for an item. And the second one is if we have, let's not do more because the forecast doesn't show any movement in that. So this kind of a demand forecasting we can do based on the sales of customers, items, and location-based things. So the granularity is at 3 levels. You can decide how you want to do. You may say, okay, we have only one house, so let's not do a location-based one. We have only 2 customers, so let's do a customer-based one or something like that. That's up to you. You can get this done. Once again, all data in your tenant, no data goes out. And of course, here we use Power BI for the visualizations. If you have a different visualization tool, that is also fine. You can take the data and show it how it's needed. So these kind of solutions, we have customers in US who are using this, mainly on the B2B side. And they use this as a planning tool also. When they do the annual planning with that 20% of the customers, they can see products that they were highly kind of in purchase during the last 3-4 years, not being purchased now. So those trends, when they put to the customer, most of the time the customer says, look, we found a more compatible supplier at a lower price and a lower whatever. So you can make those decisions. Okay, are we going to do something to capture that whole market of that customer? So those kind of planning discussions also we have some of our clients doing. So lots of use cases in this. Uh, and as I said, your planner needs to use it. Whole idea is not to replace the planner, but to help the planner plan better to have those business outcomes that we discussed. Yes, Sonali.
So, on forecasting, I think uh, it was a very, I mean, a highly aligned use case for most manufacturing and supply chain companies. Since we're talking about different use cases from different aspects, I would like to take our final use case, which is coming from exchange rate. Now, if you can remember, as I mentioned it before, we are dealing with different, you might be dealing with different customers, like say from local and overseas markets, and you might be struggling to find different currency rates when it comes to like invoicing and like maybe issuing purchase orders, so forth. So we have this solution, which is you can find it in our Zillion website as well. So what we do is like we extract. As of now, we are extracting USD and different other currencies from different set of banks locally, and so this exchange rate can be also the daily updates can be also brought down to your emails as well in a regular basis. So what you can see here is like you can just visit our website and you can just get to know exactly what the USD current USD rates coming from different banks, and in the top in the bottom you can see how what's the trend analysis of the conversion rates of USD currency. And on the right hand side, you can see how this email will be coming to your inbox daily. So basically, you can see it's a very customizable email. So if you feel that you need to have different other currencies coming into this exchange rate, definitely we can work on that as well. And from a frequency, we can right now it's a one time it's a daily update that you might be receiving to your emails. And if you feel that need to have multiple updates coming per day, definitely we can offer that option to you as well. And it doesn't stop here. Like this, we can bring these currencies, daily exchange rates to your systems as well, to your financial systems as well. And also, we maintain a historical data retention, and we also maintain audit trail as well, just to make sure that everything is compliant and everything is in place. And also, we can bring additional banks and other sources where you're expecting currency rates at the moment. And also, that being said, I think this is a very kind of a very, I would say, the more related solution for you as well. So, if you feel that you need to subscribe to this exchange rate through our website, so basically we'll be sharing. I'll share the link at the end of the webinar. So it's a very service that we're offering. It's a free of charge thing. So basically, you can get the exchange rates right into your email box, email inbox in a daily basis. So I think that's what we had to demonstrate from a use case perspective, where we feel that AI could add more value to your organization. So as you can remember, I feel that I hope that you can remember at the very beginning of the webinar, I mentioned that you might be having a question like where to start. So it's a very simple low risk path that we have. So ZILLIOne from an AI transformation and consulting perspective, we always guide our customers to understand exactly what are the pain points, what are the bottlenecks, what are the challenges that they are facing within the organization. So it always matters that you understand the right point where you feel that AI should be applied or AI should be used or any kind of an AI based tool or a solution should be implemented. So that being said, our consultancy framework comes with four pillars with a discovery, a solution blueprinting, implementation, and an optional adoption and a scale point. So first, we need to understand your data. We need to understand what are the high impact use cases that you might be having within your team or within your organization. And by exploring these use cases, we can pick one high impact use case, and for that particular use case, we can run a focus solution. So it's always about starting from the right point, and like there are different entry and exit points in our consulting framework as well. But if you feel that you don't know exactly where to start, we recommend for you to start with a consulting session and where we can exactly tell you, so this is a high impact use case and this is where you wanted to start. And but if you feel that you have a clear requirement, so we can definitely jump through an implementation and we can move forward. So there's no kind of a sequential order that you have to follow, but it's a very flexible approach, very flexible framework that you have as well. So that being said, Andrew, anything to add for this point?
No, I think it's clear. So basically, if you know a use case like say AP invoice automation or exchange rate automation, very clear use cases of saving time, hedging for kind of exchange rate fluctuations that you can see, as well as on the AP invoice automation or document information extraction. So those are very clear use cases. You can clearly see how many people you can cut down, how many licenses you can cut down, the time impact. It's very clear. Those are kind of even if you ask us, we'll say those are very high impacting. But any of the other areas, you can go with a consultancy and move forward. Yeah. So I think in the interest of time, so now let's open for questions if there are any. Uh, yeah.
So if the audience has any questions, we'd like to open the floor for you all to unmute yourselves and just raise your questions. If not, you can just drop a message into the chat, so we'll be like to answer your questions directly as well.
Seems there are no questions. You can type it also if you don't want to unmute yourself. Of course, you can contact Sonali. She will send the her contact details on the chat so that you can reach out to us. Uh, some of you we will definitely be reaching out to see from a value perspective and opportunity perspective if there's anything that we can do for you. So if you have an unknown number call coming in, it's probably Sonali's, or you have the number here. So please answer the call. Take maybe maximum 2 to 5 minutes to give us some feedback and any opportunities or anything that you see, or if you saw any thing kind of missing, or whatever the feedback that you want to give, please give that 2 to 5 minutes to my team who will be calling you, so that we can make these webinars better and better aligned with your market needs and stuff like that.
Okay. So just to summarize what we have done during the webinar. So we started with the pain points and we also show you what sort of outcomes that you can gain from a top line and bottom line revenue growth. And also we demonstrated the use cases that we found in general that most of the manufacturing and supply chain teams are facing as from a challenging perspective. And just to wrap up the meeting, actually, we also show you the ZILLIONe AI transformation and consultancy framework, and exactly like where to start and how ZILLIONe can guide you through the AI transformation process for your organization. So that being said, I think we are kind of arriving at the end of the webinar. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be also coming up with some other uh, industry specific, different industry vertical specific webinars in the future as well. And like as Enrico mentioned, if you feel that if you have any sort of a requirement, or if you feel that you should directly reach out to us to get our assistance for your AI transformation journey for your organization, so please feel free to reach us. So I have dropped the email addresses and the relevant contact numbers for your convenience in the chat as well. So thank you so much for joining, and we would like hope to see you in our upcoming webinars. And have a great rest of the day.